As far as regular season games go, they don't get much bigger or significant than this. Two potential MVP candidates, two possible Super Bowl teams getting together for a throwdown, dubbed by the NFL Network as the Drake Mayfield game. And it's all taking place in Tom Brady's secondhand stomping grounds, Raymond James Stadium, a.k.a. the football stadium with a pirate ship in the end zone. To help you preview it, we go behind enemy lines with the great Scott Reynolds of Pewter Report on this, a most massive edition of Six Rings and Football Things. Here we go.
Hey, whatever it takes, man. It's all about winning, all right? Winning on three. 1, 2, 3, win!
Celebrating the heroes of Foxborough's past.
And with a good block. Look at Grover. Coming all the way. Watch the block of number 73, John Hanna.
The champions of the dynastic era.
Adam Vinatieri booms a 48-yard field goal, and the Patriots are Super Bowl champions.
The Patriots of tomorrow.
We're going to remove entitlement from our football team. We're going to earn the right to be here every single day.
And the fans whose faith never wavers. This is Six Rings and Football Things.
It's gonna be. I mean, this is another test for us. You know, that's a damn good football team. So as far as like being like, Coach says, road warriors. I mean, it's really that. Like you got to go in a hostile environment. You got to protect the ball, and you got to be yourself. That identity got to travel. Who you are at home is gonna be the same team you are when you play away. So even more so. You know what I'm saying, you're going into those hostile environments.
You heard the Patriots' unofficial emotional leader right there. What happened to me on the photo? Oh, there I am. Oh, okay. Sorry, we had a little technical difficulty on the live stream right there. That was Patriots' unofficial emotional leader, wide receiver Stephon Diggs, telling you exactly how big this game is, but you don't need to be told anymore. You've bought into the hype, the hoopla, and the hysteria. We're 48 hours away from kickoff from a game we don't even need to hype up any further because CBS told you how big it is. You have Hello Friends and Skechers Romo on the broadcast. And I got to tell you, finally, Scott Reynolds, who's joining us so kindly from the Pewter Report for covering the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. It's nice for Patriots Nation, who I know nobody will ever feel badly for after our double dynastic run. But then again, you can kind of empathize and appreciate because you borrowed a little bit of our joy at the tail end to bring yourselves back up from Davy Jones' locker to the surface as well. So I don't think it gets much bigger than this on Sunday. How excited, just in coverage, how excited are you for this one?
I think it's great, right? Because to me, the New England Patriots this year are last year's Washington Commanders, right? Defensive-minded veteran head coach comes in, takes a team that was 4-13 the last two seasons, and just immediate resurrection behind a young quarterback. Last year it was Jaden Daniels. This year it's Drake Maye, right? And I think that it's exciting for the league to have a team, and we saw it in Tampa Bay. Tom Brady takes a 7-9 Buccaneer team to the promised land in his first year in Tampa, winning the Super Bowl right here at Raymond James Stadium. Mm-hmm. And the Buccaneers have done nothing but won NFC South championship since and made the playoffs since 2020. Now you've got what's happening in New England with Mike Vrabel, a very well-established and a coach who has kind of willed this team to play better than maybe a lot of people thought it would. I don't think anybody, even the Patriots themselves, thought they'd be at 7-2, but yet here we are, and this is going to be a fantastic game on Sunday for sure.
Yeah, there's just so many storylines that go into it. Like the fact that Brady played there means absolutely nothing on Sunday, except for the fact that everyone's going to be talking about it. And some fans wish that somehow it got flexed over to Fox just so Burkhardt and Brady could have done it. And you could have had, how emotionally torn that he would have been. But instead, he's off somewhere getting paid to clone dogs and just, be weird. But we appreciate him nonetheless.
And to root for the Raiders.
And God, I mean, honestly, Scott, at this point now, if he told us that he was cloning dogs so he could basically get Bo Jackson's DNA and make 53 of him to fix that friggin' team, what an absolute trash game that was on Thursday Night Football. Sure. Not a great way to start week 10 in the NFL. But I also love the fact that, Baker Mayfield, who I loved in Cleveland, I loved in college, one of my favorite players that doesn't or has never worn a Patriots uniform to date, probably never will. He was somebody that the Patriots allegedly coveted in 2018 coming out of school. And I'll be talking to Josh McDaniels later on today on WEEI as part of our Patriots Friday coordinator interviews. And I'm going to ask him if it was true that that they thought about maybe bumping up to 2 to draft him to be Brady's replacement. But instead, he's Brady's replacement in Tampa. And his renaissance has been spectacular. To be the savior of Cleveland, then a pariah, go to Carolina, flame out Sam Darnold style, only to be picked up at LAX by Sean McVay.
Right.
He gets a little McVay sauce, turns it back around, and now he's been one of the best quarterbacks in football the past couple of years.
Yeah, he has. I mean, you look at Baker Mayfield's arc from hero to villain to hero again. It's quite something, right? And I mean, it's hard to go from being the face of a franchise to literally an NFL journeyman in one calendar year, but that's exactly what happened.
Yeah.
He played on 4 different teams within one calendar year, right?
It's crazy.
Browns, the Panthers, the Rams, then the Buccaneers. And for the Buccaneers, he saved this team from having to do that hard reset right after Tom Brady. You look at this Bucs roster, they only won the Super Bowl a couple years ago in 2020. There's less than 10 players that have Super Bowl rings still on this roster. So
that's a hell of a turnaround.
It really is. And when you have the quarterback, you don't have to rebuild, right? You just reload and you keep going. And that's exactly what the Buccaneers have done. And there's very few of these handoffs in the league, right? Pittsburgh, for example, they're still trying to find that handoff guy. Is it Aaron Rodgers? We'll see. But there's been a lot of quarterbacks in between Ben Roethlisberger and Aaron Rodgers that haven't done it for Pittsburgh, right? You of course started in San Francisco, the Joe Montana to Steve Young. Nobody's done it better than the Packers, right? To go from Brett Favre to Aaron Rodgers to Jordan Love.
Succession plans like that. That's so smart. That's so smart. It's really a testament to good roster management by the Buccaneers as well. The Patriots obviously went through their micro C, if you will, or their, a desert of a whole half a decade until they thought they found their guy. And then Bill Belichick disliked him so much, he gave him a defensive coordinator as his offensive coordinator. Broke Mac Jones and broke his own team in the interim. They should have hired Vrabel last year. They don't. They make the Mayo mistake. And now this hard reset year, you've got a team that, their starting 22 is excellent thanks to vulturing the best parts of whatever was left over, a solid draft, and $300 million, basically the budget of a Pirates of the Caribbean movie to rebuild the roster. And so now you've got a good starting roster, but you don't have a lot of depth with the Patriots. And one of the things I've been impressed with about the Buccaneers is you lose Mike Evans. You still don't have Chris Godwin. Bucky Irving's been down on my fantasy team and everyone else's all year long. And yet still, you're not missing much of a beat. And Baker and the coordinators, I apologize for forgetting the name of the man who took over for Liam Cohen. Josh Grizzard, have done an awesome job, with the old man Shepard and Tez Johnson and Cade Otton and all these other Rashad White's come back to life. It's really impressive what they've been able to pull off.
It really is. And you think about this, Todd Bowles is on his 4th offensive coordinator in 4 years, right? He fired Byron Leftwich because it was more Brady than Leftwich that won the Super Bowl, right?
And then it was Canales, correct?
Then Dave Canales, and he's, Bowles is a kingmaker. He goes and makes Canales the head coach at Carolina. He gets Liam Cohen from Sean McVay out there in L.A., and in 1 year, the Buccaneers are back to scoring 30 points per game like they did under Brady during the 2020 and 2021 seasons when they won the Super Bowl and they won 13 games. And then he gets the head coaching job in Jacksonville across the state. So now it's Josh Grizzard, who was the understudy to Liam Cohen last year. And he has been dealt an absolutely awful hand, right? He's sitting at the table thinking, all right, cool. I got Baker Mayfield coming off of 4,500 yards, 41 touchdowns. Mike and Chris and Jalen McMillan's back. And Bucky Irving was a rookie sensation, 1,000 yards. They got one of the best offensive lines in football. It has been anything but. I don't think there has been a game where there has not been maybe 6 starters healthy to play, and that's 6 out of 11. That's half of your offensive starters are backups, and yet he's found a way to win. And part of that formula has been better play by Todd Bowles' defense. Last year, Liam Cohen's offense wore the superhero cape the entire season. The secondary was battered and beaten up. They weren't getting turnovers at all on defense. There was the takeaways were few and far between. Different story this year. They've added better pieces on defense through the draft and free agency. The Buccaneers were -5 in the turnover margin this time last year. They're +7 this year. That's huge. And it's 2 things. It's Baker Mayfield, who had 16 interceptions last year. As great as his season was, he was still tied for the league lead with Kirk Cousins with 16 picks. He only's thrown 2 this year, and that's a huge step in the right direction for him. On defense, Tampa Bay has 12 takeaways on defense. That's 5 more than they had at this juncture last year. They already have 7 interceptions.
Wow.
That's as many as they had the entire year last year.
Yeah, and also they get after the quarterback as well.
They do.
25 sacks, but a
Yeah.
lot of pressures, a lot of hurries as well.
Yeah.
That's a ferocious front, right, that you guys have there. Levante David, who might be as old as the Pro Football Hall of Fame.
Still
He
getting
and
it
Bobby
done.
Wagner, ageless wonders
Yep.
over the middle that find ways to make plays when it matters most.
Yep.
To me, it's funny. We talk about like defense. I think the Buccaneers defense is going to give the Wonder Show, the Wunder Kid, the kid, if you will, because some like to call him the baby goat in Foxborough, Drake Maye, who's in this competition with Mayfield and a few others for MVP this year, and his downfield passing game. It's going to be hard to make that happen if he's got a face full of pewter and maroon all day long, and I feel like, to me, the keys for the Patriots on offense will be trying to find a way to pick up the rushers and then get short passes out. A guy like Pop Douglas, who scored a touchdown last week, Travion Henderson continuing to grow up in front of our eyes. And, his rookie season basically just started a couple of weeks ago.
Right.
Things like that will hold. If you can hold the Buccaneers at bay for a little while, that'll help the Patriots get going. And then on defense, you can't let Ibuka, who's just absolutely having a phenomenal rookie year. If you put Gonzo on him and just say Oregon versus Ohio State, let's get after it. Popcorn ready, let's go. I'd be very curious how you think the Buccaneers will try to attack the Patriots if they decide to try to erase Ibuka and make it the rest of the guys in Baker versus Milton Williams, Robert Spillane, Christian Barmore, and your old pal Carlton Davis.
Yeah, I think let's look at the offense first for Tampa Bay. They're going to get Luke Gedeke back at right tackle. That's huge. They should have 4 out of their 5 starting offensive line back for the first time all season. They've never had 4 out of 5. Now they will, and that's huge for this team because the running game hasn't been there, and it might be futile trying to run against the number 1 defense, the number 1 run defense in the league in New England, but you have to have a little bit of balance. So, a successful day for Tampa Bay's running game, what does it look like? Probably about what the Patriots are giving up. If they can get 75 yards on the ground, that should be enough to keep the Patriots off balance and not have Baker Mayfield have to throw 40, 45 times per game. I think, too, when you look at the matchups, it's going to be interesting to which Carlton Davis shows up on Sunday. Is he going to show up with revenge on his mind, and is he going to be focused and have a day against his old team? We've seen that, right? That happens sometimes. You get up for your game against the team that traded you away. You show up and show out. And
Steph
Carlton
Diggs did
Davis,
that earlier this year.
Yeah, Carlton Davis might be the Bucs' worst nightmare on Sunday, but we've also seen the opposite around the league, too. You go in there, look at Tom Brady's last game when he came back to New England, right? On that Sunday night game, the Buccaneers squeaked out a 19-17 win. He played terrible in that game, right?
And but that was a Belichick game. Belichick had him defended to it. It was such a good game. And I got to say, I don't think I've ever witnessed a more satisfying or entertaining Patriots loss in person in my life.
Right.
That stadium that night, you want to talk about the proverbial Ron Burgundy glass case of emotion. Holy smokes. I mean, I'd love to go. And I was also there for the Super Bowl that year during COVID at Raymond James. And that was, to me, like the most melancholy game I've ever taken in. It was around then when I started following yourself. And
I appreciate that.
Who's the other? Rick Stroud, is it? That everyone? Yeah. So basically, you and Rick Stroud are like 2 very familiar faces. You're like cousins that we've heard about, and we get Christmas
right?
cards.
Distant cousins.
We all share, like, we share the same family. We just don't see each other very often. But that was a very melancholy experience.
Well, and I think with Carlton Davis, he has some warts. He has some flaws to his game. He's not the fastest guy. He's a physical guy, but Tez Johnson,
big guy,
is small. And when I say small, he's maybe a 155, right? I mean, he's
soaking wet, holding 2 phone books. Yeah.
Probably, yes. But the thing is, Tez Johnson plays tackle football like you would play flag football, which is you try to squirm and squeeze out of getting touched. Because at 155 pounds, it's self-preservation, man. You can't afford to get tackled. So he's got a body that allows him to make you miss. And he's very good at getting yards after the catch, as an example. For Carlton Davis, he's physical, but it's hard to hit what you can't hit. And Tez Johnson, if he gets free releases, look out. He could make Carlton Davis's life miserable because he has some deceptive, sneaky speed. If Carlton Davis can get hands on him at the line of scrimmage, that's where he wins. So I think that's going to really be the key to the passing game. Is I do think that Gonzalez is going to have some wins, and I think Emeka Egbuka is going to have some wins. Those two might cancel each other out with maybe a 75-yard day for Egbuka, and I think that would be a win for the Patriots. But I'm looking at that other side of the field, Carlton Davis versus Tez Johnson. Whoever wins that one might win this game.
And you wonder also, too, if maybe what they do with Carlton Davis is put him on one of the tight ends because he is a bigger guy, or if he's on Shepard, if Shepard can, play a full game because the guy is excellent when he's out there, regardless of his age, but he's made of
32.
chandelier glass as well, and 32. Maybe a guy like Marcus Jones, our excellent slot corner / punt returner, who's smaller and quick himself and just got a contract extension.
Right.
Him versus Tez could be
one to watch.
High quality theater as well.
Yeah.
And as far as when the Patriots have the ball, again, they can't be looking for I don't think they're going to be looking for the big chunk plays.
They really can't against this defense because what Todd Bowles will do, and you look at the left side of that line, Jared Wilson at left guard, giving up 4 sacks this year, according to Pro Football Focus. Will Campbell has all the tools to be really, really good in this league.
But he's green.
But he's green. He's a rookie, and he's left tackle, and you're on an island there. If Yaya Diaby can win that one-on-one matchup, and Diaby's got 4 sacks this year, including a strip sack against Jared Goff on Monday Night Football a couple weeks ago, that's going to play into it. And look out for the weak side blitzes from Todd Bowles. That has been an absolute ace in the hand for Todd Bowles' defense. He has sent Jamel Dean, who's had a strip sack. He has sent nickelback Jacob Parrish, who has 2 sacks. He has sent Antoine Winfield Jr., who forced Sam Darnold's late game interception in the fourth quarter that resulted in an interception for Levante David that won that game with the last-second field goal. Those weak side blitzes against the weakest part of that offensive line in terms of pass protection, especially with a green left tackle, Todd Bowles will put you in a blender with the guys that he sends and the blitz and the pressure he shows and then drops. It can be very confusing. So to me, that is going to be where that's at. And with Henderson, if he has a weakness, it's pass protection. He is not the pass protecting back that maybe Stevenson is. So that's going to be key right there. Is he going to correctly ID the correct guy that's coming? And then is he going to have the technique to protect Drake Maye? I think for the Buccaneers, you're going to see a lot of blitzes, especially on first down. Todd Bowles wants to win on first down. He knows the Patriots are going to want to come in and have a balanced attack. Why he blitzes so much on first down is this. If you are going to try to establish the run and get some positive yards on first down, you're going to do that against an extra guy in the box. And if you're going to go play action or you are going to throw the ball on first down, guess what? He's sending a guy at your quarterback. Todd Bowles wants to get the negative play or at least the stalemate on first down because that greatly increases the chances that you'll be in 3rd and long. And that's when he can get into his bag and show the exotic looks and really send the house in those instances. And sometimes, too, he'll show pressure and rush 3 and drop 8. And then you're really confused, especially if you're a young quarterback. I'll say this. The one key element for the Buccaneers is, and they see this with Baker Mayfield, who is probably the best in the business right now. He's up there with Josh Allen. And finding those escape lanes when the pressure's coming and getting out of a would-be sack and then killing you with a 15-yard run on 3rd and 10 or 4th and 10. And if Drake Maye has that ability too, which he does, if he can find the escape lane and hurt the Buccaneers with his legs, that's going to be really huge for New England. In other words, if you're at midfield, instead of taking the sack, you get a 15-yard run, boom, you're in field goal range then. Like it's those type of game-changing plays that Maye can make with his legs that really concern Todd Bowles. So the emphasis this week has been maintain your pass rush integrity, maintain your gap integrity. Don't give him an escape lane because Drake Maye will hurt you like Baker Mayfield will with his legs.
Yeah, he's been tremendous. And it's funny because it's one minute he's running for 13 yards for a first down using his, long loping gazelle-like strides and his sneaky deceptive speed and strength as we like to call him grocery store brand Josh Allen right now as he's trying to ascend to that position and posture. But then he'll also run into a sack because he doesn't quite have that pocket awareness yet that Mayfield has developed, that Brady mastered so well years ago. Drake does love playing in the warmth, so that's going to be to his benefit as well. Just little intangibles as we get here wrapping up and looking to our prediction. He loves playing in the warm weather. Pats are an undefeated road team as well. Rookie kicker Andy Borregales kicked in Florida down at University of Miami, has a big leg, so long field goals. Maybe not Jacksonville's 68-yard long, but long field goals could be in play for the Patriots as long as they can cross midfield during the game.
Right.
And we won't have Kayshon Boutte most likely, nor Stevenson. So they're going to be looking for other receivers to try to step up. And we'll see how that line does. But then again, like Mike Tyson used to always say, everyone has a plan until you get punched in the face.
That's right.
The Patriots can have a plan on the line until they get a face full of Vita Vea, and then you never know exactly what's going to happen. I think this one's going to be a great one, Scott. Tell me how you see this one shaking out before we wrap up.
It sounds trite, and I don't mean to state the obvious here, but really the turnover battle tells the tale in Tampa Bay. The Buccaneers have lost it in 2 games, and they lost both those games. They lost at Detroit to the Lions, and they also lost at home to the Eagles. They're 5-1 when creating a takeaway on defense. They're 5-0 when not turning the ball over. So that really this year more than ever has been the catalyst for their success. And they've been averaging 2 takeaways per game over the last 6 weeks. So I think Tampa Bay, you look back at what happened in New Orleans before the bye, 4 takeaways, 5 sacks. They had a pick 6 by Anthony Nelson, who's actually played better than Hassan Reddick, the guy he's replacing in the lineup. Todd Bowles, his message to the team on Monday was, don't be the Lions. Don't be that team that comes out of the bye week rusty. Todd Bowles is 1-2 coming off of bye weeks, but they did win last year 30-7 at New York against a bad Giants team. But he has got them laser-like focus in practice this week. He ran them hard. They had a full padded practice on Thursday, taking the opponent very seriously. I think this game could come down to a field goal. I do like Chase McLaughlin at Raymond James Stadium. He's kicked a 65-yarder this year, which is a new team record.
Whoa.
Yeah, so I think that the Buccaneers probably have a 3-point edge at home, and I could see them winning this game, 24-21, 24-20, somewhere in that range.
All right, that's so funny because I have pretty much the exact same preview. I just have so you've got Bucks 24 and Patriots 21 field goal game. Solid prediction. I see it shaking out very similarly. I just, I feel like this is a great opportunity. This is for the Patriots. Like it's hard to figure out who this game matters more to. I think maybe in a lot of ways it matters more for the Bucks because you don't want to deal with any nonsense of an upstart Panthers team or anyone else nipping at your heels in the NFC South. Yeah. And Baker Mayfield wants to establish that you guys are legitimate competition to the Rams, to the Lions, to the Packers, and the Eagles in the NFC. And for the Patriots, they've already proved their point this year. It's like the rest of the season is sort of house money. So just proving that you belong on the same field with the Buccaneers. Many at our radio station and the Boston media have said, hey, if it's a 4 or 5 point loss, but a well-played game, that's a moral victory. I still see the Pats finding a way to come out on top with a late Andy Borregales field goal in a game that is very similar to the Buffalo one. I'll go Pats 27, Bucks 24. Folks, if you want to keep in touch, you probably already follow him as a member of Patriots Nation because he covered Tom Brady and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers so well. Watch out. There's going to be a ton of Pats fans in Tampa this weekend because we hate the cold and it's friggin' freezing and windy up here, whereas it's 83 and sunny down there this weekend. So this has been the designated away game for most of Pats Nation this weekend. And they also want to just go see and smell where Tom Brady used to be. Just get the essence of Brady and Gronk as well. And I love Tampa personally. I think it's going to be an awesome weekend. But just in case you don't follow him, at Pewter Report, the great Scott Reynolds provides top shelf coverage of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. You'll want to follow them all weekend long as the Pats and the Buccos showdown at Pirate Ship Stadium in Tampa Bay. Scott, thanks so much for the time, man. This has been a blast. Appreciate you very much, as always. And that'll do for the latest Six Rings and football things. Thanks, everyone. Make sure you subscribe and follow on Spotify, Apple Pods, the Odyssey app, or wherever awesome football talk is found. Have a great weekend. Stay healthy. And as always, go Pats.